Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back for another video. Today we're actually going to start a new series. I want to do a series on basic Photoshop 101. So I've used Photoshop since about 2013. That's actually how I learned how to edit. I didn't dive into Lightroom until I want to say around 2017, maybe 2016. But anyway, I learned everything I know, how to edit, started my business. I did everything in Photoshop, and I think it's crazy that people don't know how to use Photoshop. Yes, you can do a lot in Lightroom, but knowing the basics of Photoshop I think is super important, and I know a lot of people want to learn. So every photo that I start in Lightroom and I put every single photo into Photoshop. To do just things that I know that I like to do in Photoshop, I'm sure there's a way to do them in Lightroom, but I personally am a creature of habit, and I always put everything in Lightroom and Photoshop. I've actually taught some mentor sessions of Photoshop 101 and where we kind of just cover the basics. So I want to take that curriculum that when I sit down with people and I want to do some short videos to maybe get you started learning in Photoshop. So these videos are going to be basic. If you've already been in Photoshop and kind of poking around, these videos might not be for you. I'm talking day one Photoshop stuff. Like, you downloaded it yesterday and today you want to figure out how to use it. Super as basic as you can get. So today's video is something that actually it took me a while to figure out, because I would watch tutorials. I learned Photoshop just by watching YouTube and watching tutorials, and I would kind of follow along. I'd put the video on my phone and I would follow along on my computer. But they would say things. They would say, oh, just do this and remove it and you're good. And I never had anybody actually explain to me. And these are going to be adjustment layer masks. So somebody in a video I was watching would do something with this. They're like, oh, and then brush over it with a black brush. What does that mean? Like, it took me forever to figure out sure, I would follow along and I would do what they were doing, but like understanding these masks and how to use them. And once I figured that out, I felt like I unlocked Photoshop. So that's where I want to start today. Just like I said, super basic. If you've already been playing around and you know what layer masks are, this probably isn't the video for you. But today I wanted to go over that because I think that your first steps in Photoshop and figuring out how to do things, this is one of the key points in knowing how to do this, and understanding these masks are going to really help you kind of grasp Photoshop a little bit more. So here we go. Okay, so the photo that I want to start with is just kind of something basic. The photo doesn't really matter. This is just a friend of mine and her little boy. But I do just want to give you a grasp of these masks. These, I guess they would be like adjustment layer masks. So the concept for these, and the thing that you have to remember is it's a black and white situation. White is on and black is off. So think of it like a light switch. Like, white is on, it's bright and you can see it, and black is off, you can no longer see it. So let's dive in and I will explain exactly what I'm talking about, but that is going to be the key to remembering how these masks work. White is on, black is off. Okay, so just for sake of whatever here, I am going to, right here you see the adjustment layers, and I'm just going to pick one essentially just to kind of show you what we're doing here. I'm going to pick just a brightness, like brightness and contrast. Okay, so we're going to move the brightness up. I am going to make this obnoxious. We're not editing this photo, I'm just showing you how things work. We're going to bring the brightness of this photo up pretty far. So I've brightened them up a lot, and really that's what I want to show you. Okay, and you'll notice that when you clicked on the adjustment layer, you end up down here with a new layer. So this layer is layered over your original layer. And the thing that I want you to pay attention to is the mask that it created for you. So this white box right here is the masks that this whole video is about. So this layer is a brightness and contrast layer. This white box is showing you that this adjustment layer is on. So it's showing the full white box. This white box means that adjustment layer is on the whole photo. Okay, understood. White is on. So let's say you want to adjust just part of the image. So you like the way it has brightened up their skin tone, but you don't like the way that it brightened up all the background. This was a gloomy day. So you want to take off that adjustment layer from just the background. That's where the black comes into play. So this is where it would get tricky and somebody would just do it in a video and I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing. You need to go over to your control panel all the way to your left and make sure you have selected your brush tool. And then you also want to go down to the bottom where there's those two little colored boxes. It automatically defaults to white and black. You want to make sure the black is on top. So right now you have a brush and it's going to paint in black. Now after we have that selected, we're going to go back over to our adjustment layer and we are going to make sure that the part of your layer that is selected is that mask. So as you can see, like I'll move it around, it can be that, or you could have the bottom layer selected, whatever. Just make sure that that actual mask layer is what's selected. And now you are going to go over to your photo and you are going to remove that adjustment from wherever you don't want it in the photo, because now you're going to paint black. So white is where the adjustment will stay. Anything you paint black on is going to remove that layer, that adjustment layer. So for example, like this, see? So what I'm doing, I'm painting up and around her. And I have put back and then I've put back how it was before I added that adjustment layer. So now if you look at your mask down here, you can see exactly where you painted. So that's where the on and the off come into play. So where it's white is where that adjustment layer is, and where it's black is where you have brushed off that adjustment layer. Are we following? Okay, we're gonna do one more example and I'm gonna actually show you the opposite. And this works with this will work with any adjustment layer. So you can, if you're doing levels, if you're playing with colors, we're gonna play with colors right now, but anything you want to remove. This also goes into when you start messing and playing with actions. You can go into each layer of the actions. That's actually going to be my next video, is all about actions and kind of how to mess with them. But you have to know this first before you can kind of understand and how to tweak actions. So the next thing that I want to show you is the opposite. So let's delete that. We don't need that anymore. We are going to do let's just do a hue and saturation. Let's do something kind of like wonky. Let's do something crazy. Okay, look, she's purple. We've made this whole thing purple now. That is what we've decided to do. Okay, so we're going to do the opposite. We are going to add something to the photo rather than take it away. So the first one, we added the adjustment layer to the whole photo and we took it away where we didn't want it. This time, for something kind of dramatic, so this works with like if you want to change the color of somebody's dress or whatever, we are going to take it all off and we are only going to paint it where we need it. So it obviously shows up like this, and your mask at the bottom is completely white. So this is the key. So you need to make that mask completely black. I am using a PC, so I hit Control I and it inverts the mask. I want to say on a Mac it's Alt, what is it, or Command I want to say. I have a Mac but my daughter's using it downstairs for school, but it's Command I, Control I, and it inverts that layer. Make sure again that layer is selected, so that's what you're inverting. But now as you can see, that layer mask is black, like it's completely black. All the purple has gone away from the photo. So now is the art of painting it back on. So we have our brush selected still, and we have a black brush still. So you are going to select the little white square. You can hit the little arrow to switch things up, but you just want to make sure white is on the top. Okay, so now our layer mask is black, which is off. All that purple is off the photo. We are going to paint with white to turn it back on in just those areas that we want it. Like, I get that this is crazy too. Like, Sheena, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I'm giving you purple hair, but I'm proving a point. I'm just trying to make an example. So we're going to carefully, I'm doing this sloppily. This is literally just to show you what I'm talking about. Again, this works best for like little tiny adjustments. But yeah, so as you can see, I am painting the adjustment layer back on to the photo. Again, we looking crazy. Sheena, you would look super cool with purple hair though. But anyway, okay, so that is how that works. If you go over here to your mask, you can see that it's black in most places, and then it's white where you painted that adjustment back on. So the moral of the story, the one thing that I want you to take away from this is white is on and black is off. It's as simple as that. If you click it on and off, you can see the difference. But yeah, that's it. Like, that's layer masks. That is the like meat and potatoes of how to do things in Photoshop. Like, if you don't understand those layer masks, you are not going to get very far. The next video that I'm going to do, which I've already mentioned, is going to be I'm going to kind of break down actions and how you use them. I will actually have some actions for you to play with, just some that I made a long time ago that I use for lots of things. But understanding this and the masking is going to help you out a lot in understanding that. Also, this is what people use, these techniques, the masking off and on, for like sky overlays and whatever. So I hope you learned something. Go practice. Make sure you understand completely the differences in the black and whites and those masking layers. Oh, I do want to go over one more thing just really quick. If for some reason you do something and you create a new layer that does not have a mask, it's at the bottom here, the white rectangle with the little circle in it. That is your add a mask. See, if I click it, it adds another mask. So if there was a layer on there and all of a sudden there's no, or you accidentally delete the mask, whatever happens, and you need to add a layer or add a mask to that layer, you just click that little button and you get one. So, okay, that's all I have for today. I hope it was helpful. I think the series is going to be super fun. Please like and subscribe and follow along. I'm not really sure what days of the week I'm going to do these videos, so if you hit the little bell, you'll get notified when I do post new videos. I will see you next time. Bye!